This question comes from three investors in Israel, Lidars Yossi Zloof and Dan Gorfung. They want to know about the credit card industry. It says, how do you explain the rise in the average credit card interest rate in recent years compared to the federal funds rate? What are the forces that you think might keep it at or around current levels, and what are the forces that might drive it lower in the future?
Well, that is not a subject that I'm, obviously it affects American Express to some degree. It affects the banks we own, but interest rates on credit cards respond to competition, obviously, to loss potential, which obviously has gone up significantly in the last few months, although it's gone down perhaps from some other periods you can pick in the past. But I don't really have much I can bring to the party on that question. We are not in the, well, that isn't true. Our furniture companies, a couple of them have their own credit card, although they do a lot of business on other people's credit cards. My general advice to people, we have an interest in credit cards, but people, I think people should avoid using credit cards as a piggy bank to be raided. I had a woman come to see me here not long ago, and she'd come on some money, and not very much, but it was a lot to her. And she's a friend of mine, and she said, "What should I do with it?" And I said, "Well, what do you owe on your credit card?" And she said, "Well, I owe X." And I said, "Well, what you should do," I don't know what interest rate she was paying, but I think, I think I asked her and she knew, and it was something like 18% or something. I said, "I don't know how to make 18%. If I owed any money at 18%, the first thing I do with any money I had would be to pay it off. It's going to be way better than any investment idea I've got." And that wasn't what she wanted to hear. And then later on in the conversation, she talked about her daughter, and her daughter had $1,000 or $2,000 or something, and she said, "Well, what should I do with," and she named the girl's money. And I said, "Have her lend it to you." And if you're willing to pay 18% or whatever, she's not going to find a better deal. I'll lend you money. It just doesn't make sense. You can't go through life, borrowing money at those rates and be better off. So I encourage everybody. It's contrary to my own or Berkshire's interests in certain cases, and the world is in love with credit cards. But I would suggest to anybody that the first thing they do in life is not on, they can get to something else later on, but don't be paying even 12% to anybody. It's pay that off, and if they're really a good credit and they don't want to do it, come and see me personally. I'll lend you the money at that rate. Greg, what do you tell your children?
No, same advice. Excellent advice. No, I have three that carefully use their credit card. More, I would say, for not the, obviously people use it a lot more as they go into the digital world and e-commerce world, but then the goal has to be to repay it. It doesn't mean because you have to use it for those type of transactions, you run up the balance, but there's an incremental risk there now.
It's a matter of convenience for some people, but I would have trouble if I were paying 12% for money or whatever it might be. It would not be a good thing. You won't see Berkshire paying that. In fact,